Welcome, travelers. Today we are going to talk about the history of the Pan, Yeşa, the Empress, and the Rebellion. Please remember to like and subscribe for more videos and let me know your thoughts down in the comments. The Pan share goat-like features, yet they are incredibly agile and begin training at a young age to wield a spear or blade, and by adulthood, even the most inept were incredibly deadly with their weapon of choice. They had no need for social or political structures, and all focused on the needs of the general tribe. The people were all capable workers and farmers, and were protected by their guardian, Many Faces. Among the Pan were also the Red Widows, women tasked with healing and caretaking of the sick, and who would also see to the final days of the dying, following the Pan funerary traditions before entombing the bodies. There were also the Vant, who were the closest thing the Pan had to leaders, but were more like shamans, as they would advise the people through visions or communion while also serving as interpreters or speakers for Many Faces. When an unknown plague began spreading through the Pan's home and claiming many lives, the Vant asked Many Faces for a vision, and through this they decided to set forth through the dark sea in an attempt to find salvation. The terrible disease continued to spread, and under the guidance of the Vant and the protection of their guardian, the Pan left their ancestral home and set sail over the starless and moonless void. During the journey, the Vant had a vision that would symbolize a safe arrival to a new home for their people. They saw a visage of a red doe, and they considered this a good sign. But there was also a vision of a large black wolf, a terrible beast that ravaged and destroyed. They shared the good sign with the people, and wanting to avoid panic, kept the black wolf a secret. Finally landing on shore, the Vant prostrated themselves, pleading with Many Faces for a sign. They prayed and fasted for 80 days, while 721 ships waited. And on the final day, a red doe emerged from the trees, touched its nose to the ground, and then returned to the forest. This was the sign they were waiting for. They had escaped the plague that killed so many, and the Pan named their new home Yeşa, meaning kin mother. Shortly after their arrival, the Red Widow, Ginas, became deeply ill, her skin corrupt with the same plague that ravaged the Pan's homeland. Fear that the plague would spread, Ginas' sister chose to abandon the entombment traditions and instead wrap her body in a fragrant cloth and leave her deep in the forest to die alone. During the time of mourning, Ginas emerged from the jungle. Not only was she alive, but she was healed. She was not sure how she was cured, but she spoke of a vision that would mean the salvation of the Pan. She spoke of the Thane, a massive tree that would become the center and focus of the Pan. And Ginas, with her vision and guidance, fell into the position of Empress. The Pan society and communities began to grow, along with their homes and infrastructure. But the Black Wolf was aware of their presence in his territory, and set out to destroy the Pan and their new home. After numerous attacks and deaths attempting to stop the beast, the Pan were ordered to instead make offerings in an attempt to calm its wrath. The wolf seemed pleased by the Pan's effort and now deemed him an embodiment of death. Named the Ravager, the wolf was to be feared, respected, and worshipped. Attempting to destroy the wolf would destroy the Pan, and all things connected to Yeşa must live in harmony. The Pan tribe continued to grow and expand as their homes and buildings became part of the landscape as they learned to attune to Yeşa and sought out the secrets their new home had to offer. Lemire, one of the common Pan, discovered the connection between the crystals in the jungle and death itself. She became the first Ahene, or Radiant One. She and those who came to follow her discovered the powers that flowed throughout Yeisha and found that all things, from the trees, the Ravager, and the Pan themselves, were connected to Yeisha. The Empress and her closest sisters ate from the fruit of the Thane, becoming immortal and establishing themselves as leaders, while their children and friends became nobles and rulers of the lower class and worked them as slaves. The Immortals ordered the Ahane to make spells and magics to remove any obstacles that they came across, clearing threats while spreading their influence. And the Empress continued to use Thane's fruit to control the Immortals as they oppressed the common Pan, working them as slaves for years. And even as the population of the villages increased and the nobles were replaced, some died of disease or injury, all served the Empress and her queens. Then, one day, an outsider would arrive to Yeisha, a Paxeltech, who would see the Empress and ask for her help in killing an enemy who held his daughter hostage. The Empress gave him a twisted gourd from deep within the roots of the Thane, and it was then that the tree became diseased. Rumors that the Thane had died and was no longer producing fruit began to spread. Even as the Empress provided the fruit, unrest was growing among the Immortals, and they began to think of how they would remain in power should their immortality no longer be secured. Then, a tragedy struck. Many Faces, the Pan's guardian for generations, was slain at the hands of a Paxeltech. This set the Empress and all of the Immortals on edge, yet none acted against her as she still provided the key to their immortality. The Empress said that no Paxeltech is to be trusted, and blamed the slaves for their misfortune. She sent her guard to slaughter innocent villagers. She did this as an act to threaten any who would attempt to usurp her, but some of her court would not stand by while countless Pan were killed. One of the Empress' personal sentries, a warrior named Navoon, stood up against the cruelty of her people, rebelling against the nobility and forming a resistance to overthrow the Empress. And she asked the help of a Paxeltech, Commander Ford. In the meantime, the Empress had tasked the Lemire with the responsibility of the dead, something that was once the task of the Red Widows. Their focus is the bodies of the nobles, and now she has ordered experiments to be conducted on those who have once eaten the fruit of the Thane. And as a result, the bodies return to life with a blue-hued energy similar to that of the crystals found on the planet. The Empress continues to look for the source of the tree's disease and a way to cure it. With many Faces no longer protecting the planet of Yeisha, it's only a matter of time until the root arrive. Thank you all so much for watching or listening. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. We have seen the root in Yeisha, but why haven't they attacked and spread yet? I'll see you next time, Paxeltech.